If you're applying to Bain and you want an offer, at some point you're going to encounter the question during your interview process, why Bain? And by the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to answer this question and walk away with an offer. So first off, why should you even listen to me? Well, besides wearing this Bain shirt, which I got when I was working at Bain, I've been on both sides of the table, which is when I first applied to Bain, I had to figure out how to answer why Bain. And when I was an interviewer, I had to give the question, why Bain, and evaluate if I wanted to give this person an offer. But before I tell you how to answer this question and also provide the answer I gave, I want to talk about and explain why Bain even uses this question. First off, every single year, Bain gets hundreds of thousands of applicants who want to work at Bain, and there's only so many spots. So as a result, there's a lot of people who go in and they're really good interviewers, they can be great consultants, and they can be great at case interviews. So Bain gets to choose, well, if we have so many people who are great at case interviews, we can probably pick the people who you actually want to work with. And this comes down to, do you actually want to work at Bain? And do the people who interview you want to work with you? And this is why they use the question of why Bain. They want to test if you actually understand what makes Bain so unique from all the other consulting firms. Really, because Bain has quite a unique culture. And I say that because I got multiple offers from consulting firms, but I ended up choosing Bain because of the many reasons that you'll hear in this video. So when someone asks you why Bain, the worst answer you can give is, I want to be a management consultant. Well, you can do that at Accenture, you can do that at Oliver Wyman, you can do that at Kearney. There's so many firms that you can do it at. Why Bain in particular? So I want to arm you with a bunch of reasons why you can use. You don't have to use all of them, but just know that these are the differences that separate Bain from all the other firms. So my recommendation is actually just choose one and go deep into it. And I'll give you a model answer at the end of this as well. So you actually get to know 5 reasons why you would choose Bain over other firms. But also second, you'll get to know how I use one of these reasons in my own interviews as well. Reason number 1 is a saying at Bain called results, not reports. So today, Bain is known as one of the big 3 consulting firms along with McKinsey and BCG, but it was the youngest of those 3. So when Bain was first founded in 1973, Bain needed a way to really stand out from all the other competition at the time, including McKinsey and BCG. So they did something where instead of having clients pay them up front, Bain would say, some of our payment actually will come once you get the results. So at the time, McKinsey and BCG and other consulting firms were simply just giving reports about their recommendations. But Bain said, you know what? We're so confident in a report that pay us once you get the result. So this became the saying for Bain, which is results, not report. Today, it's more commonplace for a lot of consulting firms to put some of their earnings into the results of the client, but Bain was the one who pioneered it. That's one reason why Bain stands out, and you can see this in other reasons of Bain as well. Second is Bain's emphasis on its associate consultant culture. Associate consultants are the level that you enter after undergrad. This is the lowest level at Bain, but it makes up the most of the Bain staffing. So in order to understand that, you gotta look at it from other consulting firms. So when you look at McKinsey and BCG, for example, they have what's called diamond structure. What this means is that you have few people at the top called partners. You have a lot of people in the middle, their consulting level. This is their MBA, PhD levels. And you have very few people at the bottom, which is their undergrad level. Bain, on the other hand, there's a lot of people at the bottom and fewer people as you go up to the top at the partner level. So associate consultants make up a lot of the organization. So what you'll notice from this is that a lot of associate consultants, as I mentioned, are coming straight from university. So Bain treats them in a very unique way, and it's almost like an extension of college. So in fact, your first day at Bain, they give you a flag with your class year on it. So you can see partners who have their original flags from 10, 20, 30 years ago. And that's one part of the cool culture of Bain is that you're known by your class, similar to how you were in university. And this extends to other parts of Bain as well. Because associate consultants are younger than post-MBAs at McKinsey or BCG, the average age at Bain is younger. And thus, because a lot of people aren't married or have kids yet, a lot of the culture at Bain focuses on associate consulting events. This means a couple things. So first off, there's a lot of global events. For example, there's the Bain World Cup where you can go, you don't have to play soccer, but you can represent your office by playing soccer. I didn't, for example, I just attended and just watched the games. Second, a lot of the social events are meant to bond the cultures. For example, every Bain office has a summer retreat. But unlike summer retreats from other consulting firms like Rollenberger or Kearney, when you go to a retreat from Bain, it is Bainies only. So no significant others. It doesn't matter if your significant other was a former Bain partner, they're not allowed in because this fosters a community at Bain. You can kind of see that Bain does a lot to make sure that the associate consultants are taken care of and the culture is really internal to Bain. So there are pros and cons to that, but there is one of the reasons why is that you're going to be really close to the people at Bain. And Bain does this with a third reason too, which is their local staffing model. Local staffing model means that when you start at Bain, most of your projects will be within a 3-hour radius of where your office is. That means that for most nights, you're actually going to just go back to your place and sleep in your own bed. You don't have to sleep in a hotel. For example, out of my first 13 projects at Bain, I stayed at a hotel for 2 of them. And that's because most of my projects were just local. For example, my roommate who was in McKinsey, and she would have to fly to Europe, South America, Asia, depending on the project that she was taking on. So I actually like the comfort of being locally staffed. And because you're locally staffed, this also means that you get to know the people in your office really well. So by the time I left Bain, I knew 75% of the 400 people, so about 300 people I knew really well at the Bain office. Something to keep in mind is that if you really care about having a culture in a city, Bain's gonna be a great choice. There's also a fourth reason, another saying at Bain called BYOB, which means build your own Bain. When people start at Bain, they have different motivations for starting at Bain. For some, it'll be a stepping stone. For others, they actually want to make partner. No matter what your motivations are, Bain wants to support it. So for example, if you want to be an entrepreneur, they're going to put you on the entrepreneurial cases that involve startups, acquisitions, build up those entrepreneurial skills for you. Versus if you want to build a deep expertise and become a partner, let's say in private equity, then they're going to put you on private equity cases. So at Bain, you really can build your own journey. And this is also outside of Bain as well, where at Bain, you have something called extra 10s, which are extracurricular activities. So for example, if you're in painting and there are other Bainies who paint, you'll get a budget to go take painting classes. If you're into improv, you can get an instructor. In fact, we got an instructor to come in and lead improv classes. That was pretty cool. So at Bain, you really can build your own Bain, BYOB. Finally, the fifth reason is a Bainie never lets another Bainie fail. This is probably my favorite saying at Bain, and it simply means that you support each other both inside and outside of Bain. So I'll give you two examples, one inside of Bain and one outside of Bain. Inside of Bain, during one of my first projects, I signed up for way too much work. In fact, I signed up to build about 75% of a deck before it was supposed to go to the client meeting the next day. And on my team at the time was a manager who was about to leave Bain. So this was like his last client meeting and he was about to leave Bain for good. And that Friday was his last day. He didn't have to build anything, but I signed up for 75% of the deck because, well, I thought, hey, I can do this. And halfway through the day, I thought I'm gonna get out around 9 p.m., go home, eat, and then next day show up for the client. And halfway through the day, I realized, oh wow, I'm not even 30% into this deck. I still have like the rest of it to go. And he saw I was struggling around 5 p.m. and he said, hey Davis, let's split the work. I'll finish the other half for you. He's like, no, this is your last week. Go enjoy drinks with your friends. And just, I was like, Davis, you're probably not gonna finish this. Let me just take it. And together we both finished at midnight. Had he not taken half the work off my plate, I probably would have been there till 5 a.m. and then 2 hours later, gone to the client meeting without a change of clothes and just being really tired. So that's what I mean by a Bainie never lets a Bainie fail, is professionally, you just don't let other people fail. Personally, I announced at one point at Bain that I wanted to compete in the World Championships of Public Speaking. And immediately, Bainies just started showing up for each of the rounds of my tournament. In fact, during lunchtime, during my case teams, my team would just say, hey Davis, why don't you practice for the next round? Give us your speech. And then at every round of the tournament, from the beginning all the way to the semifinals of the World Championships, I had at least one Bainie in the audience cheering me on. That was really cool. And you kind of see here that I feel really passionate about this part of Bain. And this is why I chose Bain over other firms. And it actually is part of the answer that I gave to Bain. So when I was asked during one of my rounds, why Bain, the reason I gave is that Bain is my top choice. And the reason why is I love the saying, a Bainie never lets another Bainie fail. I ran into a Bain alumni recently who started a nonprofit called Pencils of Promise that builds schools around the world. And he shared with me the story of how when Pencils of Promise first started, he was working in the Bain New York office and needed donations for this nonprofit. So he sent an email out to the office and people just started giving him the initial donations that he needed to build the first school. And in fact, when he asked for 6 months off to work on this project, the head office at Bain at the time basically granted it to him. And when he came back and he wanted to leave Bain, they were very supportive of him doing that. That's the type of environment I want to be in. And that's not something I've seen in other consulting firms I applied to. And that's why Bain is my top choice. In fact, if you give me an offer today, I would sign it without hesitation. So as you can see, that was the type of example of an answer that I gave to one of my interviewers when I was asked why Bain. So the key to answering this question are 3 things. 1, have your own answer. So you don't need to take mine. You don't need to take Pencils of Promise, Adam, or you don't have to take the example I just used, but use your own. 2nd, do it in a genuine way. Interviewers, especially consultants, can sense when you're just faking it. So really have a genuine reason about why you want to work at Bain. And 3, do your research about Bain. And the good news is number 3 and number 1 are already taken care of because you've watched this video. You've already seen the type of culture that Bain has and can provide for you. So feel free to use any of the examples here, my examples, any examples you heard previously, and tailor that into your why Bain answer. Because how you answer this question, why Bain, could be the difference between you getting an offer or not. Now you know a lot more about how to answer the why Bain question. I want to leave you with more resources actually. So if you are in the process of applying to Bain, all you have to do is tell me what stage of the Bain process you're in, and I'll send you more resources. So for example, if you're applying to Bain, type in applying to Bain. And if you're interviewing with Bain, type in interviewing interviewing at Bain below, and I'll give you more resources to help you with Bain. And if for some reason, for example, you're applying to another firm like LEK and you happen to be watching this Why Bain video, you can type in like interviewing at LEK and I'll give you resources for that as well. So just tell me what firm you're currently applying to or interviewing at and I'll send you some more additional resources. On top of that, if you are 100% serious about becoming a consultant at Bain or another amazing consulting firm, I'd love to help you. I work at my consulting offer where we're a team of former McKinsey, Bain, and BCG recruiters, interviewers, and consultants. And all we do is we help people get jobs in management consulting. And we've helped people from all different types of backgrounds, including bartenders, flight attendants, and football coaches. So I like to say we know what we're doing when it comes to helping people get jobs in management consulting. In fact, we've helped over 800 people start their careers in both management consulting and healthcare consulting. And we've done this at a 90% success rate. That means that 9 out of 10 people who work with us land at least one offer. And I'd love for you to be our next success story. All you have to do to see if you qualify for our program is to click the link below and schedule a free strategy session with my team. And during the call, we're just gonna understand your background, understand your goals, and figure out a plan for how to get you from where you are to getting a job at Bain, for example. And the good news is that, like I mentioned, the call is completely free. So at worst, we can't help you, but we'll give you a plan and point you in the right direction. And at best, this could be the call that leads you to getting your offer in consulting. So I'm so excited to support you and help you become a management consultant. But you don't have to take my word for it. Actually hear from Edwina, who saw one of our videos, was worried if she could even stand out from all the applicants. But after she took the call, was on her way to getting a Bain offer. In fact, I'll post her video somewhere next to my head. That way, Edwina can actually explain her journey from applying to getting her dream offer at Bain. All right, I'll see you in the next video.